growing up some.
Yo, bro, you nearly got banged to rights.
Tid soup.
He nearly got banged to rights.
That's how you doing? You know, muppet about evening, my lady. Big
Bro,
up
live
yourself.
on
Mind
TV.
mastery. Well, anyway,
Ladies and gentlemen, myself, my brother, fish and chips is on the corner. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the magical words, the now famous magical words. Dream it, believe it, become it.
coming up, because that's the only way we're moving. Big up Country Done in the place, my brother from another mother. Big up Metakuta. Big up Aaron, what's that, Swawa. You know what I mean? Big up Steve Bailey. Too many people. Big up ND. Yeah. Big up Guzzy. Steve Bailey's always a regular on our team. Come on, man. Listen,
What? Guys, but I'm listening.
we saw John Ryder has a bigger heart than the stadium that he boxed in yesterday.
But before we go on, big up Shiesty 505. Bro, I'm not forgetting that. I
didn't see that. I didn't see Shiesty. Shiesty's my sister, man. Not I mean.
Come on, old type my mastery.
Hey Shiesty, you know what people? I posted a picture of me and Shiesty together, yeah? You know what man never said, right, who's that girl, bruv? Who's that girl? I said, bruv, you wanna fix up yourself. That's my little niece. Man, I'll thump in your face or I'll call Tunde with a brush you. Me and Tunde just tag team man up in the place.
Big up Bobby B, Bobby Wright, all day, every day.
Come
Lee
on.
S. I see you, bro. You know, we're just bigging up the people there. But I'll let you continue, Spence, because it was a great one.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just massive props to John Ryder. Like I said yesterday on yesterday's show, and I'm saying it again today. If you go into the dictionary and you look up the word moral victor, there is a massive picture of John Ryder, and it's not even a massive picture now. It's an NFT. When you open it up, a picture just jumps out at you. What he did was incredible. Right, 1 second, Ton. Your brethren's phoning me. All right, mate.
Well, I get worried when Spencer says my brethren's
Nah,
phone.
bro, that's cool, man. Love you.
But old type, I told you, Aaron.
All right, bro.
Me and Aaron,
Okay, God bless, brother.
Swawa,
All right, mate.
Swawa was talking about the fight prior. And although on live, I just said,
Yes, Johnny.
Spence, put your thing on mute. What's the matter with you? Sure, might have been conversation and we're live on a something. But anyway, sorry. Yeah, Aaron, listen, we said it, mate. We said it. I told you, John Ryder is as tough as old boots. And he did account himself very well last night. It was really a big fight. Yeah, I should have muted him, Ali. But you know, Spencer, he's just I don't know what I don't even know the word for Spencer. But it was just one of those fights. Like there was parts of the fights where I was calling for the stoppage. Like, come on, man, this is too much. The beatings, but I did say that nobody knows John better than his trainer, Tony Sims, who I messaged today. I got the reply today. I just said to him, what a fantastic fight. And well done to him. The thing is that the way this boxing works now, people are already calling for certain fights. And I'm interested to hear what Spencer thinks once he gets off the phone. Is the next fight for Canelo Alvarez? Spence, you there?
Boom. The next fight for Canelo Alvarez, yeah? And let's just keep this thing 100. Big up man like Alan Skills, yeah? Let's just keep this thing 100. Has to be the Bivol fight, right? Simply because Bivol's got a win over him. And I saw Eddie Hearn do something. I should have phoned Eddie Hearn right now. But I saw Eddie Hearn put out something. And what Eddie Hearn was saying is like, Bivol's team want the fight at 168. Canelo wants it at 175 because that's where he lost, and he's being true to himself, saying like, I want a fight, my guy, because he beat me at the light heavyweight division, and I want the chance to go back and avenge that defeat, right? I'm giving Canelo all the props in the world, but that should be the next fight for Saul Canelo Alvarez. That is that fact.
At what? At 175 or
At
168?
175. At 175.
So then, what do you make of Bivol saying that? What's the point in us having the fight at 175? Well, I already broke you up at 175. Like, you're my child at 175. He wants to create history, obviously being a two-weight champion and getting that undisputed belt at 168. And he really wants to go into that contest, take that belt from Canelo, and then probably unify with Beterbiev. That is, I guess, his thinking. So what do you say about that?
Yeah, number one is this. I'm not gonna spoil the apple cart.
Better still, just hold on there. Because the yard man from Sheffield.
There's no yard man from there.
The yard man.
Yorkshire pudding up there.
Yeah, the yard man from Sheffield is in the building. Come on.
Yeah, yes, boys, you're good. You're good. Don't shine righteous. The sun is shining righteous.
Bro, Johnny, you're looking younger by the day, mate. You need to give me some of that cocoa butter you're using, bro. Because 1 minute you're in a 2-piece or 3-piece tuxedo, the next minute you're just looking like some young boy surfer.
You know what? Last night I'm tired from last night, man. It was a long night, but listen, I know yards. I know Boaz is getting some stick. But you know what? And you're saying he should have taken him out. Now let's just look at facts. Facts is not boxed for 1 year. And before the fight, I said if he does a below par performance, he's got every excuse. He's been out of the ring a year, and so he's come back in there. Now he got in there. You get in there with a fighter that's non-committal. Now you've got guys that are spoilers that just want to mash you up and don't want to try. You've got guys that are non-committal.
Johnny, you know all about them. I know you do.
Yeah, they'll have a go. They'll have a go. Then when you ask me something like Ross, you're like, I'm out of this. So Stepien, he was non-committal. He was unbeaten. I've never seen a man so happy to lose his unbeaten record than Stepien when the fight was done. So what does that tell you? You know, he was so when he's on top, he's on top. But then all of a sudden he's thinking, when Boaz dropped him or something, he's thinking, so he stunk it out. So what I'm saying to you is Boaz is a good fighter. You know that. You know that. And so to me, I just think, unfortunately, that's what he's had to come back with after a year out. So you can't blame him. He did what he could do with a fighter that's non-committal, a clever fighter that's non-committal. I've never seen a man so happy to lose his unbeaten record. You know, I feel if I was Stepien.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I don't know why people are really criticizing Boaz, because I thought it was quite a good performance if you look at it from the perspective that he was working on things, trying out. He knew the guy couldn't hit him. But what I would say with regards to what you're saying is, even though the guy was non-committal and, was happy to lose, don't you think there should be some pressure put on to Boaz to stop them kind of man? If you put Anthony Yard in with that guy, it don't matter if he's running away. We're gonna catch him.
Yeah, but you're like, so you know when you get a spoiler, a stinker, they'll grab the hold or slip the run and mash up the best of fighters. They'll be like, they make them look bad. So them guys don't get work because you think I'm going to beat him and look bad, or risk losing to him and look even worse. I should lose this man. Stepien, he was a good fighter. Man was unbeaten. So he went in there and he just didn't commit. So, and yeah, Boaz said, I wanted to stop him. I did want to stop him. But he just, if a man's not going to be there, you can't kick a man that's running away. You know what I mean? If he's going to stand there to try and toe-to-toe. And I actually thought, the beginning of the fight, first round, I thought, Ross, my man had put the weight, and I thought, you know what? He looks, as in Stepien, I thought, he looks like solid. He looks like he's put some proper pounders. Whereas Boaz, he looked exactly the same at the weigh-in. He didn't look like he'd put anything on. I thought, all right then, he's got a little bit to give back. We'll see how this thing goes. But then I was underwhelmed with the whole performance. But I just think it's not fair to put it on Boaz's toes. That's just, listen, matchmaking is everything. So we could have got somebody from the turnover, bump off, and he's back in the mix again. And in this game, we got to take the rough with the smooth. So Boaz has come back again now. We're talking about, of course, they're going to measure him up against Lyndon Arthur, Yard, Dan Aziz. I personally, the only, and Callum Smith, the only man that out of all of them that I would consider fighting if I was Boaz was Yard. That's the only man I consider fighting because realistically, being there and proving it, Callum Smith, Yard's been there twice and up there twice. You think, you know what? That's a scalp. That's a scalp. Dan Aziz.
How much you paying you, John?
That Aziz is coming through the ranks, and I'm thinking, why are you looking back there? Looking behind it. Don't disrespect to Dan Aziz. No disrespect to Lyndon Arthur. What I'm saying is, you want to make sure every fight means something, gets one step closer to where you should be. So for Watsi, I personally think that Bivol fight is not going to happen. Bivol's going to fight Canelo next. That's not going to happen. So in reality, the fact that if it can be made, if these foolish promoters put their ego to one side and stop being stupid and work with each other, is Bawatsi and Yard. That's a mad.
So hold on, I hear that, but Dan Aziz is in the same camp.
Yeah, but
Dan
why?
Aziz, wait. Dan Aziz is.
But why would you?
Hold
Dan
on.
Aziz, his title, my man gave up 4 years ago.
No. Hold on. Dan Aziz is the British, European, and I believe Commonwealth champion.
Yeah.
That's 3 belts. Boatsi hasn't had the European title. He ain't held that. He hasn't had the Commonwealth title.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure.
The European champion.
Huh?
I've listened to you guys.
Wait. I ain't talk. You mean you listen to me, guys? I ain't said my piece. What's the matter with you? Just hold it.
Shut up, man.
Wait, what I'm saying.
I'm
saying, you can say he had the British 3 years ago, but Dan Aziz is number 2 rated in the WBA. Joshua Buatsi is number 1, if I'm not mistaken.
I was a bit concerned.
So hold on. So you've got 1 or 2. They're 1 and 2.
I'm a bit concerned, Red.
So what I'm saying is, you're saying, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying I disagree, but we can't just leave out Dan Aziz because
I hear you, but I'm a bit concerned because you're talking your man out of a fight. Why are you throwing somebody else? Why are you throwing? They've definitely
put you on to try to set up the fight. You gotta remember, mate.
For them two to fight each other, you attack Dan Aziz. I love Dan. Dan's a badass. I love him. I love this kid. I love everything about him. But why are you putting your man out of the mix? This is about.
Listen, don't misinterpret me. Nobody's putting nobody out of the mix. You're talking about someone who never turned down no fight. Anthony Yard has never turned a fight down. We went to Russia on our own. On our own to face the most formidable light heavyweight champion of the last 10 years. We then fought.
Tell them again, Gary, with no suitcase.
We then fought the most feared light heavyweight on the planet.
That's what I'm talking about. So explain to me why.
Wait. I ain't finished, John. I ain't finished. We then fought the most feared light heavyweight in the planet. Only person ever to fight him from these shores is Callum Johnson. So we ain't ducking no fights. These guys fight people. So you can't be telling me an Olympian, a bronze medalist, after all these years is still looking to fight somebody who never had no amateur career and has fought for 2 lineal world titles.
I'm confused, Dred, because what I'm saying, we're singing off the same hymn sheet. I rate Dan. I think I rate Dan everything he's done, but in reality, the fight, if the Bivol fight doesn't happen, which it won't happen next, is Yard, because you just give him his resume for why it should be him, because you've just told me the path that he's done to respect him on a world-class level is Yard. So I understand Dan's number 2, Mama's number 1, but what I'm saying to you is I'm with you. That's the fight that should be. And as I said, I'm a massive supporter of Dan. You know, I'm a massive. I like Lyndon Arthur. But what I'm saying is the most common sense fight to make, the most established fight to make, the one that makes the biggest mark is Bawatsi Yard.
Not what? I hear that. Of course it is because you. Of course it is. And I'm not gonna disagree, John. I'm just making points. The only reason why I made that comment is because you said I'm talking or we're talking ourselves out of fight. That is the most ridiculous statement anyone could ever say. So to hold it there, JB, and I don't like calling people's name because from what I know, he hasn't called our name, and you know us, we don't call nobody's name. It's just how we've always operated. But I just see you're just overlooking of course, as a fighter, everybody wants to fight Canelo. Everybody wants to fight Canelo. That's the fact. That's the big money fight. But what I'm saying is, you got an in-house fighter. You got an in-house fighter in Dan Aziz who's world rated as well. And all this brethren talk, there ain't no friends in boxing. When you get in the ring, we're swinging. I heard Charlie Edwards talking about fighting his own brother. So like, there's no friend. I'm just saying that there are fights out there other than but Anthony and Boatsy, I must admit, and I said it. I said it's a big fight. It's a big fight. But come on, man, don't be saying man's ducking fight or point. I just had to make that point. Anyway, while we're there, John, because I'm not going to go into this because I think we have one of, in my opinion, the best trainers in the world, not just in the UK, in the world. A man that loves boxing, very passionate about boxing, has a fighter who has challenged the beast, the other beast in Batavia, the one, the only, Mr. J-Man.
Yes. Listen, before we start, Champs Camp is back.
It is, Johnny. I sent you an article before. Did you get it? See it?
Get in there, Joe. And I remember those days. Champ Camp's back. 30 years out, 30 years back in again. Tell them about Champs Camp first before you talk about anything else, Joe. You tell them. Preach to him.
Nah, listen, Champs Camp. Listen, there was great rivalry, friendly rivalry years ago between Brendan and Phil. Obviously, Johnny fought Carl, Frank fought Herald. Listen, it was, and at the time, Champs Camp, it was beginning to be known as the UK Kronk. They were fighting in the gold shorts. Paul Burt beat Billy Shua. We had 4 British champions in the gym at once without any TV deal with any TV fighter. Maurice Core beat Noel McGee. Carl Thompson won the British up in a small hall show up in the northeast, and he went on to the European. And the amount that came off started from scratch, like Brendan, Tony Akubia, Ozzy Maddox, Maurice Core in an ABA final on his 12th fight, winning the British title on his 10th British title and his 11th professional title.
The thing, Joe.
It's a northern thing, boys. You lot, you Southerners won't get it. It's a northern thing.
Stop for 1 second. Please ignore Johnny Full Nelson, right? Ignore him. Please continue, Joe, because when Joe's talking to me, you're talking to me, I'm a historian. These things stood out to me.
MC Bingham. Don't forget MC
Bingham.
Right.
Ozzy Maddox, Steve Walker, Frank Eubanks. Frank Eubanks was a dangerous man. Carl Harney, Mario Culpepper, one of the best talents, the closest thing to Sugar Ray Leonard. As an amateur, knocking kids out clean for fun. Had 4 pro fights. Phil died and he never fought again after that. And that was the impact more than that he had to pass away at the age of 44. And that was it. I went there in 85 when there was a big thing. And I was told at the time, you don't go on my side. It was predominantly a senior gym. You'll be the only white kid there. And I wasn't. I turned up there and John Green was there and Paul Hampson and another couple of lads. But it didn't deter me. That's what I wanted to do. So I boxed for Moss side from 85 to like 89. And then Phil said, I'm too busy with the pros now. Do you want to run the amateurs? So I started running Moss side ABC. I had my first national school board champion in 93. So to go back 30 years later now with everything and Tasha and Butler and Crawler and everything that's done, and to go back, BT did a documentary last year called A Moss Side Story M14. And what got to me most, lots of people in the area came up to Morris, Carl, Ensley, myself and went, didn't know that was there. I didn't know the history of that gym. And I thought, wow, people forgot what Phil did in this area already. And that's what made me want to go back. And to Johnny Scene last night, Champs Camp gold shorts with Macaulay last night, and the T-shirts back. And I don't want Phil's legacy. Like Johnny talks of Brendan all the time, I don't want to forget what Phil Martin did. And like Brendan, Phil had so many success stories that came through them doors that never put gloves on, but it's not talked about. And I just want to remember Phil Martin give Billy Graham his break. Ricky Hatton wouldn't where he'd be today. Oliver Harrison came through there, do you understand? Haroon Headley and myself, but I ran the amateurs, and that's it. And the big thing now, 27th of May next year, is the date. It'll be 30 years since Phil passed away, and I want the unveiling of Phil's statue in Alexandra Park, Moss Side, unveiled, and that's the push now. And I'm very committed to keep Phil's name, his legacy going forward, and not forget it. I'm really pleased that the Manchester Evening News did it today. I mentioned to Johnny that when Sky come up next time to get down there, I think a lot of people forget about the past and the fights. James Cook doesn't, boys. James Cook, he fought Slugger O'Toole or Fidel Castro at the time, and it was all good rivalry then. But I don't want to forget people to forget Phil Martin's legacy or Champs Camp, and very much you look over in America at the moment. The Kronk has been rebooted as well; they're going again, and I want Champs Camp to be rebooted again, and we're bringing back all the old canopies that were on the front. The big picture of Hagler and Duran on the front of the gymnasium on the Princess Parkway, that's coming back. And and that's it. And the response in the community and everything.
Can I just maybe here? Number one, Joe, I've never give you credit publicly like I should have done in the past. I think you are one of, if not one of the very few that have left of true cultures left. You've not gone to college to get letters behind your name. You lived the art sport in and out of the ring. You eat it. It's your family. That's everything you do. There's not many like you, Brendan. You are like Brendan was. You're passionate about your fights. You're fighting. You're arguing everything about them. I've got to respect that massively. I recognise that in other trainers. There's not many of you left, and that's what I'm saying. Number one, number two. Your man got robbed last night. Robbed blind. It was out of order on every level. And I thought I'm not playing the game, and I was happy to say, as far as I'm concerned, I saw it completely different, and that to me is a must. In regards to everything else that you're doing with Champs Camp, please, I beg of you, when you're doing the official opening, when you're doing anything down there, please let me have a shout in. Let me have a shout. Let me just step in. Whatever I can do for you, however I can help. I've just reposted that what you sent me to have a look at.
Like I'm saying, people don't understand the history of Phil Martin, and not only that, but me and Joe are good mates. The fact that Joe has done something to make this man's legacy continue, you should be commended for that. You should be commended for your bravery for going into that. And it was at that time because it was so divisive. And the thing that really, to me, that stands out in my mind was when Nicky Piper got the draw with Morris Core, right?
Yeah.
But then when like for some strange reason Ernie Fossey would sit there, he can't fight, he can't James, if you can't beat him, you might as well retire. And they made Nicky Piper, right, versus Carl Thompson. And the way Carl Thompson knocked out Nicky Piper on seconds out, ITV. I'm a little kid then. He knocked him out.
I told the story in that because in the office, I worked in the office in the day with Phil. I did the tickets for Frank Warren's show in Wythenshawe years ago when Foster was on it and everything else. But a lot apart from that. So the story in that, the phone went and they said, is Carl available for Nicky? And Phil went, I've not seen Carl for ages. I'll call you back. So he said, there's a little job for him Saturday, blah, blah, blah. So Carl's downstairs in the gym. Phil phones him back and goes, the lads have got him. He's in the Claremont, round the corner of the Claremont's a pub. Down there, not in the best of shape. So they went, oh, come on, Phil. He said, I'll talk him into it. So Phil went, all right then. And Johnny will know this. It's very much a Brendan, like a Phil thing. So he went, all right then. Carl, as you know, was body beautiful. He was training away downstairs. Anyway, when they went that Nat Basso and Phil got on the hands and knees and begged Carl to take it and say, you'll beat him, you'll beat him, you beat him. And Morris said, you beat him. So they went down. At the weigh-in, Phil said, keep your T-shirt on. If they see the shape of you, they'll pull out. So he kept the T-shirt on, Carl, didn't he? And then anyway, he went in and got the win. But that was the story. They took it because they thought he'd been on holiday and he was on the lash and the booze and not being in the gym for 6 weeks. But back then, and this is what I'm trying to install to my fighters then, and just like Brendan then, you've got to be in the gym all the time. This 6 weeks camps, 10 weeks camp, Macaulay McGowan fought in Paris. He was back in the gym on the Wednesday. And the Crawlers, the Quigs, and everyone else of mine are always in it. And they were never more than 7 pounds overweight. And neither was Bingham, Maddox, Carl Thompson. The phone would ring. And that's what I'm trying to get through to fighters now, to be educated, to stay in the gym, keep the body hard. It's no good. They'll go about the Ricky Hatton era. That was terrible for boxing. He advertised blowing up and everything else. And because he could make weight, it's wrong. You look at all the old fighters, whether it be Mosley, Mayweather, Hopkins, they were in the gym and they were on it hard. And that's what I'm trying to push. But that was the story with Carl then going beating Nicky Piper.
Because
right, sorry, gentlemen, because you know I've got to put my hand up. Because if I leave you free on this ticker, we'll be having a history lesson. Going
you know the thing that you think.
Anytime I talk to Joe, there's no 2-minute conversation. Joe just starts. It's like an encyclopedia. But listen. You see today, these kids nowadays, Joe and John, you know these kids got short attention spans. So we just got to keep it moving, relevant. You are the historians. Tunde Ajayi is the now historian. So can we keep it moving? So Joe, first of all, before we touch on the main fight, which was obviously Mr. Alvarez against Mr. Ryder, what was your take on the show last night overall? Johnny spoke about Joshua Buatsi, but there was a inaugural British female, I think it was the first ever British
welterweight championship,
price, and also obviously Tyler Denny and your man.
I got here. I'm babysitting. I'm being granddad.
Do your stuff, John.
Johnny Nelson, thank you for jumping on the show. Big up yourself, Johnny.
No problem, Johnny. Speak to you soon.
John. Yeah, so I mean, what was your take on the fact? Let's get straight to it. I mean, we spoke about Buatsi's performance. What was your take on Buatsi's performance, and what next for him?
By that time, I'd left the arena. I was listening to the last few rounds on the radio on the way back in, and listen, afterwards there was the spin put on that they wanted the rounds, they needed the rounds, they'd been out of the ring afterwards. But beforehand, it wasn't really. They wanted to make a statement. They had an ideal kid. The kid was due to fight Callum Smith earlier on in the year, and I just thought at the time when the fight was made, I thought Callum and Smith would have took him out within 2 or 4 rounds, which was a nice warm-up. But the fact that we had 10 rounds, now they're putting the spin, he needed the rounds. But Joshua Buatsi, I think if you look at him and Okoli came off the same Olympic cycle, and look where Okoli is and look where Josh is, something's not
and Joe Cordina.
Does that make sense? No. Josh says he hasn't turned these fights down. He does want these fights, but Eddie Hearn, if he valued him that much, would have fought tooth and nail to have kept him, but he didn't. He let him go. And listen, no need jumping the gun, but listen, Josh got the points win last night, but we need to see him in fights. And I feel sorry for Dan Aziz. I'm a big Dan Aziz fan, and I think Dan Aziz has done it the right way, and he's European. And if I was Dan Aziz, I'd be going, why am I fighting Buatsi? Let him earn his merit. I'm having a world title shot, and I'm being pushed. Why are you trying to square me off or get up against him? Do you know what I mean? Josh had an opportunity to fight Callum Smith under the Eddie Hearn banner, and it didn't happen. Why am I being fed to him? Does that make sense?
And Callum Johnson. He was up for the Callum fight as well. That was mandated.
Yes.
So you can't say the opportunities haven't been there. But anyway, we don't want to harp on that too much.
No, it's great. And as far as the girls, the females, it was brilliant. I showed Tasha a clip of an interview 30 years ago where the board said, I'm not replying to this about should women be allowed to box. It'll never happen. This, and this. I showed Natasha that the other day. I said, you want to put that out with your picture of your ward going, how times change, and now they've moved, we've got a British title. But we know,
you know what, Joe?
We just need time, don't we, for it to
we also need to big up Jane Couch, because Jane Couch, she goes underneath the radar. We got to give her because I remember when Jane Couch was battling for female boxing, when she was battling for females to be accepted by the British Border Control. She was the one that battled the British Border Control. The British Border Control at that time they didn't want nothing to do with female boxing. And I remember, and that was in '96. She was on Michael Barrymore's TV show, right? Yeah. And she was on there because she was doing a fight. She had to do most of her fight circuits abroad in Europe and also in America, right? And she was a staunch advocate for this, and like, more fuss should be made, especially right now, how equality has lined up itself. There should be more fuss given to Jane Couch. They're saying, oh yeah, we should name the title after Jane Couch, and oh yeah, but they're kind of brushing off. This woman, she should be awarded greatly. She should be awarded by government. She should be, for what she has done. Yeah, I mean, you got to give credit where it's due, my friend.
Joe, what's your take on Ben Whittaker?
listen, Ben's got to be like a Nas and a Eubank. You got to tune in to watch him win, or you got to tune in to watch him get knocked out. And I think Nas in this era, where it's a YouTube era, would have been huge, absolutely unbelievable Nas, and he was big back then. Ben Whittaker has the opportunity to be that because he crosses over to the YouTube element. They like to see all that, hence why you see Misfits and everything else. And Ben's got that. He's got that ability. But only time will tell. That he's had a few injuries already before his career's begun. But he's got to grow and do it. But I think the crossover isn't so much into the mainstream. It's more into the casuals on the YouTube. If you can get the YouTubers on board, sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, going on to the main event, which was the fight in the early hours of the morning, we saw the return of Saul Canelo Alvarez, someone who I know that you're familiar with. Been in the ring with him with Liam and Callum, actually. Yeah. How do you assess his performance? And I mean, what a great showing by John Ryder. But overall, what do you feel about his performance?
Listen, we all knew what John Ryder has got to do. He's a tough kid. He's a strong kid. I do think I agree. Canelo isn't what he was. He is there, but he's still too much for what's about today, apart from Bivol. John Ryder gave it his best shot. He showed lots of heart, lots of guts, but I said it'd be very much like Holligan and Chavez was years ago. But like I say, John Ryder hung in there, fired back at times, and like you say, he went in there, give it his best, and he came out of it. He can live with himself for the rest of his life because he gave it his all. He couldn't have done no more. What happens in fights when you come out of it, you think, oh, what if this and what if that? That's what haunts you later on in your career. You've had your chance and you didn't make the most of it. John Ryder made the most of his opportunity last night. And the fact that he didn't win, it doesn't matter. He gave it his best and he can live with himself.
Exactly. I was saying exactly the same thing. If we was to go look up Moral Victor in a thesaurus, or if you was to look up Moral Victor.
Why does it have to be a thesaurus? Why can't it just be a normal dictionary, mate?
Because I said thesaurus, right? You would see a picture of that young man there, because what John Ryder did yesterday is like, there was times where I was calling for the fight to be stopped. He fought X amount of rounds with a grotesquely broken nose. It was clotting as well because you could see how it was congealed. The blood must have been difficult for him to breathe. He took his lumps and his bumps, right? So all the credit in the world to John Ryder.
Can I put a twist on it from a coach's point of view?
Gun.
Would you feel that Tony Sims, or because I had feel in that situation, I'd be slaughtered for leaving him in there and not pulling him out?
You would have been.
There to cut you. When you was talking, I was absolutely going to ask you the same question.
He's getting beat. He's lost every round. He's being dropped. His nose is broke. What are you leaving him in for?
Yeah, that's the question I was going to ask.
About this, Joe, if you did that, Joe, they would kill you. You know why? Because you got a face that looks like a rat. So what? No, they would kill Joe.
It's a great point. I think it's a great point. It's a great point, Joe. And there were times, we know how tough John was, but was he really going to win the fight? He'd been dropped twice. Listen, I guess you know better than anyone, Joe. Nobody knows the fighter better than you, and maybe Tony thought that. Listen.
No, exactly. I threatened to pull Callum out in the 10th at the end of the 10th against Canelo, because his shoulders busted. I said, Callum said, I'm not to pull this. You're not showing me anything. And then he went out and he tried a little bit better more. But you say things, don't you? Because you start thinking to yourself, why do I want him to start getting battered even more? What's the point? Do you know what I mean? Live to fight another day.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, I saw you. Listen, Brad, I told you, I woke up this morning and I started looking on YouTube and I see you training with Tasha in the same day, the day of the fight, the show yesterday. So I'm like, nah, mate, I'm going upstairs to study. Because I can't be having Joe just outworking me, but it really inspires me, how passionate you are about the sport, and
I think for Tasha as well. Tasha's a shining example. Her work ethic, her hunger, her desire. I'd be quite happy for Natasha to retire and move on now, but she wants more belts, more divisions, and there's a few fighters in the gym that have been around a while, and I look at them and go, look at her over there, Tasha. She comes in, she gets some of it, old school, doesn't want no big dramas, attentions. Oh, here's your water. Oh, I'll pat you down. She just gets on with it and a work ethic. So Friday, I couldn't train her. She turned up for doing a Sky yesterday. I said, "You got your stuff here?" I went, "Right, come on then. Let's go and do a session." So we went and did a session. So, and that's
Proper.
it. It's she's an unbelievable athlete. Her focus, her mind, she absolutely lives and breathes it. And despite whatever she's won now, she still wants it more. And she's like 39 next month. And I'm just like to everyone in the gym, don't come to me moaning when you've got her over there doing that. Do you know what I mean? Just button down and get on with it. There's no prima donnas in the gym.
What's next for her?
Well, she's going to be on the Sky show coming up in Manchester. All the big names, they're all fighting. We'll let all the dust settle, and then we'll see from there. Obviously, Carissa's fighting, Katie's fighting, Jessica Castell's fighting, Brackhouse is fighting. So once the dust settles with all them fights, then we'll see what happens.
Also, Joe, I'd like to ask you, Smith Eubank 2, this is coming up in Manchester, right? What's your take on that fight? Because I know that you used to train all of the Smith brothers. So what's your take on that fight?
I think Eubank can't be any worse. I think Eubank may have bought into the ego, and not many people give Liam Smith the credit that he's good. He's a very, very good. In my opinion, he's the best inside fighter in this country. Has been for a long while, and he's got the platform to show it now. Chris can't box. Only Chris can fight. If you look at him in Billy Joe, he got outboxed. If you watch him against George Groves early on, he got outboxed. If Chris can drag you into a fight, he'll do you. But the trouble is with Beefy can do both. But I think Chris Eubank making weight with Conor Benn hurt him. And I think now he'll take it serious. He'll bring a proper nutritionist in. I do feel he needs to have a coach that he'll listen to and knows it. But I just think Liam Smith, now he knows he can hurt him to head and body. That's got to be a very hard man to stop coming forward. Do you know what I mean? You've seen that. Liam can dig it out like he did against Liam Williams. And then the rematch, Liam put in a boxing masterclass. So whichever way Chris wants to fight, Liam can give it him. But I do feel Chris Eubank will have a point to prove. And I feel... So I don't feel sorry. I feel disappointed for Chris because him against George Groves, he's shown me that Chris Eubank Jr. had plenty of that. Yes, the bigger man took the bigger shots, but his career never kicked on from them. After that, I thought there was a chance for him to have kicked on and gone and fought Triple G and people like that because he had it in him. There's a proper dog in him. Do you know what I mean? He can dig it out. He can fight. He's a brave man. And I just feel for him that his career might phase out and never became a world champion with a proper belt. It would be a real shame, really.
Well, you worked with when he fought your guy Morrison, right?
Yeah.
And what was your thoughts of him in that fight? Because it was on a lockdown at that time as well, and yeah, what was your thoughts on him then? Because I struggled to say when's the last time Chris Eubank Jr. has given us a good performance. I have to go to the Eurodream fight. If we go to the Eurodream fight, you know how many years ago that was? That's like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So that is the thing. It's like, it's all right. We say like, yeah, we know he's got plenty of that, and right, but technically, Liam Smith is superior to him, right? Yeah. And it's hard to go back into the ring with someone when you know like they've done you and they've done you. You got stopped badly, right? Irrespective, even though they were saying, "Oh, he hit me with the elbow," and I'm not buying into none. Right, I'm not buying into none of that nonsense. Yeah. The thing that I find difficult for Eubank is this: when you saw the success that Eubank got in round 3, end of round 3, watch round 4 when Liam come out, totally different guy because he didn't shape up. He's breaking alignments and he's moving his head. Yeah. He's moving his head. He's looking for the shot. These are kind of things where like Eubank, I believe, he's a great all-round athlete. He'd be athletic in he'll do well in any sport, I believe, because he's athletic. Yeah. But certain fundamentals can't be just taught overnight. I don't think it's enough time for him to learn it. But we shall see, because I think it's still going to be a good fight because he knows that right.
No, when Marcus fought him, the main thing was Chris. Chris likes to touch you with a jab and step in one. And if you're there for the second foot movement, he'll unload on you. So the thing with Eubank, when we fought him for Marcus, was as soon as Chris comes, move 2 steps back. Once he gets to the second step, he's in no man's land. He'll shut down and go back again. and that was it. Also, if you stayed still and you allow Chris unload and let him get into shot 4, 5, 6, you're in trouble. As soon as Chris is there with 1 and 2, you've got to fire back straight away and shut him down. And that was it, really. It was just a 2 feet. Chris can't come forward that good. He's not a good come forward fighter. So let him come forward and counter punch on his second movement. He lifts up, and then if he isn't touching you with anything, he'll shut down and go back. And that was it. But if you stay there, he'll unload 4, 5, 6 shots. So I was saying to Mark, as soon as he starts coming with the 1, 2, 3, you've got to shut him down and fire him back, because that's when you'll catch him in the crossfire, because he doesn't have his non-punching hand in the right position or anything. And that's what Marcus did then. And I think early on he tried it, and Marcus caught him. And I thought, so yeah, you felt that. Never mind, you carried Marcus. You didn't want to engage them because we're ready to shut it down. It did later on, do you know what I mean? But no, that was it.
He didn't carry Marcus, and also he didn't carry Liam Williams. People talking like, oh well, he carried Liam Williams. He said, oh well,
Bro,
go on.
I have to stop you, look, because bro, this ain't the Chris Eubanks show.
No, I know. I'm just saying, you know.
Forget about Chris Eubanks. Chris Eubanks. Listen, we're talking about Joe's fighters and what's next for them. Joe, listen, I just got a text from somebody talking about did Tasha have an opponent for June 10th?
June 7th, no, she hasn't got an opponent yet.
Okay, because
I'm not saying.
There's a post from a Nicola Hopewell. Is that someone saying that the fight was off or something like that? So there was never ever an agreed fight.
I don't know Nicola Hopewell. I managed Tasha, never heard of her.
All right then. Listen, the internet, that's why I don't really follow it too much, because listen, unless it comes from the fighter or the trainer or the manager or the promoter.
I'm not being disrespectful there, but
I for sure.
Is she a pro?
I've never heard of her, mate.
Oh, right, okay.
I've never heard of her. I just got a text.
Neither have I. Also, on to kind of change it, this week we got the sad news of the passing of Eric Guy.
Yeah.
I've seen like everyone posting their picture with Eric and all the rest of it and stuff like that. And I just got a thank you from Eric Guy's daughter. She sent, because we posted that little clip on when we used a bit with him sparring. His daughter contacted me saying like thank you. They've got a GoFundMe page as well.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send it over to you afterwards if you could try and help that. It's like for him to get a really good send off. Yeah. Eric Guy, I've got loads of stories that I could tell you about Eric Guy. So I just want, like, if you got a story, because everybody used to get their video tapes from him. I know Tunde used to drive far to collect the tapes from Eric Guy's house. Everybody went to Eric Guy, you know. And I know Eric Guy was around at the time when you were moving with Phil.
Yeah.
So
we're in the Gym Champs camp, we've got around 600 video cassettes, and I was going through them the other day, and I seen Ian John Lewis fight. We've got your fights, Gary Jacobs. We've got loads. 1983 ABAs, Northwest semi-finals, Great Britain. So we're going back there, all that. There's Eric Guy ones that in there as well. And Eric, he was there at every championship.
Every championship
with the video cassettes, £5, £10. Then it became DVDs. Any opponent, ask Eric Guy. And it wasn't just Britain. He'd have opponents that he could get you from America or from Europe or
Hong Kong,
other parts of the world. He got it. And it wasn't just in boxing. It was a huge name in bodybuilding as well. Yes. I know him and Kerry Kays were very close as well. He used to be up here. He did work with Dorian Yates and that. He was a real good guy. I seen him at the Peacock a year ago out at the new base there. And as always, Eric, nice fella all the time. Asked for a little bit of help. And that's it. Kindly obliged. And it was massive. And I said to Sky this week, I said to them, are you doing 10 bells with Sky? And I said, no, we've got to do a commentary thing, which they did with Macklin talking about him last night. And I said, I don't think you... And it's a bit like Phil Martin. And there's a new breed, a new generation of people that don't know the past, really, and Eric Guy.
You're taking the words out my mouth, Joe.
And I said, Eric Guy, I said, he had like Audley Harrison, he had all the fight, everyone and anyone, Amir Khan, amateur fights, everyone. He was your go-to, Ricky Hatton, Nas, everyone you'd go to. And I don't think no one realised how big of a personality he was in amateur boxing, and it'd just be nice for him, which Sky did, to give him a nice conversation last night with Andy Clark and Macklin about him. So I'm really pleased I did that. It's a shame that they don't have the ringside shows no more, where they could have done a better piece or a feature on him. Maybe BT Sport might do something along the lines of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Listen,
Eric was
Joe,
a beautiful guy.
Joe, listen, it's been absolutely. Listen, we could keep you on there for 6 hours. You wouldn't even stop telling us stories.
Listen, I've got one eye on you, and I've got one eye watching United West Ham. So, like,
what's the score?
Fuming at the moment. We're getting beat. Can't believe it.
What's the score?
1-0.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure to have a friend of mine, Spence's, the one, the only, the trainer of the year, Ring Magazine trainer of the year, Mr. Joe Gallagher.
Cheers, thanks for having us on, Tunde, Spence. And I might see you next week. I'm in London next week, so might see you
good
boys.
stuff.
All right, mate. Take care. God bless.
See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joe.
See, this is the thing where people don't really get to hear Joe Gallagher. They don't. I mean, people don't really get to hear Joe. Joe Gallagher's cool. He's good people. You know what I mean?
He's very, Joe's opinion. Joe ain't holding back on no talk. So
exactly. And he's passionate. He's passionate for his fighters.
Yeah, a lot of people can't take that, but listen, at the end of the day, someone that backs their man, I've always got time for them, and just like I back my man, Joe backs all of his fighters, and you can hear the history that's inside of him.
Come on.
Great guy for boxing.
Yeah,
Spence, you man try to turn this session into some history class, fam, but I know people love it because there's been 200 people holding. You've held
right. Thank you, and I'm grateful for that. It's not that, and this is what I got.
What are you calling rat face for? What are you calling rat face for?
Who?
You called Joe rat face. What are you calling rat face?
Yeah, I'm just teasing. I always call it rat face.
Personal.
No, we don't. No, you don't. Me and Joe's tight. I always call you little rat face. Every minute I mean, he's calling.
Right, yeah, you say that about me and Joe's personal.
Bro, man, little rat. I was, but no,
have you ever heard the saying? Wait, have you ever heard the saying? You can see a man's face, but you can't see his heart.
Tunde, I don't business about his heart because I know my heart's clean. You know what I mean? I don't business about next man's heart. You think I'm trying to worry about what next man's heart is? Joe Gallagher is my guy. But no, let me just say this, when Joe was touching on the things like certain of these new guard, and I'm going to break this down straight standard. I'm just talking this thing, right? They get rid of the old guard deliberately. You know why? Because the old guard are the ones that have the knowledge. So if we can get rid of them and we can just put some young kids in there, these little you who don't know nobody, right? You could imagine this thing here, Eric Guy, God rest his soul, he turned up to a certain promoter show. I'm not even going to call it, but he turned up to their show, and the young youths were like, "You can't come in," right?
Sorry, I just have to say it. I'm getting texts. I'm seeing online, man saying, "I just call man rat face." I'm on the thing. Bro, you don't know, words are powerful, because I even see Joe's face. Joe's like, "Oh no, bro, you're lucky that we're on air." You gotta
about lucky, what are you lucky on air? Like Joe could be making about we're lucky we're on air. I'm trying to go out to Manchester and strangle Joe Gallagher. Joe Gallagher, my brother. That's his business. Nah,
Gary said, wait. Gary said, out of nowhere like that. Like, fam, where did that come from? We're having a discussion. Back to school, man, rat face. I'm like, bro.
Look, man, listen, to bottom line, people have to realize this thing here. When man come on our show, it's the realest thing. It's not no,
it's
the realest
it's
thing.
all love.
And like, everyone knows that I can say what I'm saying with Joe, because me and Joe's relationship go back 30 years to. You know what I mean? Go back 30 odd years.
Joe is a G.
Yeah, he's a G.
I'm defending Joe here. I'm defending Joe's silent faults.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be calling my rat
Don't
face.
worry about that, man. God's protecting me. No one can't trouble me.
That one was below the belt. That one was below the belt. Anyway, can we really discuss? Listen, I've got to first big up John Ryder. I know we've gone over this, but I've got to first.
John Ryder's a gangster.
John Ryder. And you know what? He's such a great guy. And you know what? I'm trying to think. That fight. Liam Smith went in there to win. You understand? Liam Smith. I
When he
was
fought
there.
Canelo, he did.
When he
1
fought
minute.
Canelo, I was
Trust
there
me.
ringside. Canelo
Trust
Alvarez
me.
was asked, "Do you feel John Ryder is the hardest British fighter?" And he said, "Yeah, absolutely." And we saw that last night. He didn't come to lie down. He didn't come. It wasn't, even when he was hurt. Apparently, he couldn't breathe properly from round 2.
Who, John?
Yeah, John couldn't breathe. After round 2, he
The
couldn't
body shot.
breathe.
It's a body shot, isn't it?
Yeah, no, the uppercut at the end of the round.
Okay.
At the end of round 2, and where that's what started it. And apparently, he fought 10 rounds, really unable to breathe properly, because he's a very, in the breathe through the nose and out through the mouth kind of person. And so it was a new experience for him. And he said, he just, again, these things, you don't know how a person is going to react until they actually happen to you. His nose was broken, as Aaron said. His nose was broken. And I just, listen, boxing, we don't know when John's going to be back out again, but he deserves a good rest with him and his family. Make some good investments with the money that he collected last night. And he can come again. I'm sure he can come again. He still sounds clear-headed and ready to go again. But I believe Canelo was sharp last night. People talking about, and even John said he don't believe it was his best. But I do feel it was a good performance by Canelo. And his lead right hands was coming out quick.
They were coming out quick. They were coming out quick.
Yeah, good times for Canelo. But big up John Ryder. What next for Canelo though? I wonder what do the people feel Canelo, or what should be Canelo's next move other than Bivol, which we've already discussed?
I'm like I said, the only fight that really, the Bivol fight, to me, that would be a good fight. I just sent something in the link. That is the GoFundMe page for Eric Guy. So Gary's got it as well. If you could post it on our thing, it'd be great if you could post that. It was Eric Guy's daughter. Eric Guy's daughter contacted me and said like they're having a GoFundMe page for the late great Eric Guy. So hopefully Gary can post that up. But going back to Bivol, Benavidez would be a good fight. I mean, Charlo's been calling for the longest time, right? Whether those, because of the promotional companies and that, a fight like that, I don't know if it's happening. What I've noticed with Canelo is this. He's very economical with his punches. He don't waste no shots. Like, he's not throwing out shots to dummy to get into range to throw. He uses his feet to get into range.
This is a total fabrication.
No, he never.
Total fabric, bro. That's how much Tank got for Ryan Garcia.
Right.
Anyway, Spence.
Listen, like Toby said to me, it's like, let's not look into a next man's pockets. What we do, Thank you very much for Gary for sharing the GoFundMe page for
Eric Guy.
For Eric Guy. Yeah, I'm saying, when you look at how Canelo does things now, yeah, John Ryder's on a mission, said he believes that Canelo's slowing up, yeah? But him saying that, he's really taking the shine off of himself, or he's being humble. Because I wouldn't say that Canelo's showing up.
No
That's
way.
the same Canelo that I've seen over the last 3 years. He fights at that same pace.
He felt better last night than he did when he fought GGG.
I'm telling you. Telling you, right? And also, it's like John Ryder, don't take nothing away from yourself, because you did some really smart things in there. And even though you weren't winning the rounds, you were in there being competitive. You were getting hit with some hurtful shots, and you showed all of that and more. Because I know enough next man would have quit. You know what I mean? I know, listen. Look, like you had the worst thing is this. Canelo blooded up your nose badly. So when Canelo was going around the sides of the left hooks hitting you, yeah, you could see the blood marks would leave the fish print on your side, and they were hard, hurtful shots. Canelo don't waste shots, Tunde.
Doesn't waste shots. Yes.
You know what I mean? Every shot comes in hard. Even the ones where he's using us to use to flick out the jab to get the range, they're hard because he doesn't waste shots.
Definitely.
I mean, great fight.
What next for John Ryder? Too Blessed has asked.
I'm
talking about GGG.
You know what? That would be a good fight for him, you know?
Yeah,
because
definitely.
he handled himself. He acquitted himself last night. And I think, like, big money, He needs another big money fight, and the
Another
way
big
he had
money
him come out
fight.
on he should be rewarded. You know what I mean? He got rewarded. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it was a gifted decision against Danny Jacobs, right? But I thought that Danny Jacobs actually won that fight, right? Doesn't matter because he capitalized on the fact that he got the win, and then when he got the win, it put him in a position for the WBA as number one contender for him to go and get that fight. So he got that fight, and they was talking about John Ryder up next, and people were laughing at John Ryder ain't going to get a shot. And he got the shot, and they played to him. He, like Joe Gallagher was saying, he did everything he could do. So like, there's no real regrets. It's not like he's going on. Oh, I should have done this. If I done that, you just beaten by the better man who's going to go down in history as one of the all-time greats, right? And John Ryder from the ends came out and acquitted himself handily. And props to John Ryder.
Yes, sir. Alan Skill, good point. He says, is it Canelo not being as good or Ryder being better than people think? Ryder is a warrior and he made it a harder fight for Canelo in his backyard. And I feel it's the latter, Alan.
And I agree.
People didn't respect John Ryder. You know, we saw the tweets from the American boys saying, I ain't paying for that, respectfully. We saw those tweets. So John Ryder really, you know, they don't respect British fighters anyway, on the whole in America. And that's why they always look at us like, oh yeah, another Brit, top. But we're showing more and more that we can be very, very competitive at world level. And, you know, listen, there are times people are getting texts from people chatting about this rap thing, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to cut that, Gary. But anyway, let's do a final roundup because we don't want to be around people, leave the people for too long on a Sunday. But let me just go on first of all, the UK roundup. Ben Whittaker winning by third round KO over Jordan Grant. Joshua Buatsi winning by unanimous decision against Pavel Stepanian. Tyler Denny winning by a split decision against Macaulay McGowan. Lauren Price picked up the inaugural British title against Kirsty Babington. And Shakan Pitters, the Pitman, beat Joe McIntyre last night on by 8 rounds point decision. I think that wasn't part of the live broadcast, but it was on the YouTube channel. So well done to Shaq. You know, a very nice young man, beautiful guy. I wish him nothing but the best. And there's some competitive fights at light heavyweight. That's what I'm trying to say. We can put all these boys in a pot, stir them up. We get some good fights. Shakan Pitters is there. Craig Richards is there. Dan Aziz is there. Anthony Yard is there. Joshua Buatsi is there. I'm sure that's one or two, but there's some good fighters and some young ones coming up. Ben Whittaker, even though it's early days, I'm sure maybe later on he'll be ready. He's got the Olympic pedigree, so you never know. Moving over to the opposite side of the world, there was a result last night that a lot of people may have gone over their heads. It was the return of Alexander Gvozdyk, who was last thumped by Arthur Beterbiev. And after that fight, I was like, you know what, bro, this thing's long. He retired, but he made a return last night. He made a return last night against someone who was scheduled to fight Craig Richards twice, a former Joshua Buatsi opponent in Richard Botelniks. And he stopped Richard Botelniks in the 6th round. So again, on a world level, the light heavyweight division is hotting up again. The Russians, the Ukrainians, they're coming back into this thing. So Alexander Gvozdyk won last night by technical knockout in the 6th round of Richard Botelniks. Moving to the Chiefs of pool, of the main event last night in Mexico was a fight that was so exciting that, bro, I feel that we should have done the watch along for that fight there. But we did
it in spurts. We did it in spurts. You really love the fast tongue style in spurts.
Yeah, in spurts. It was a great fight. That was Julio Cesar Martinez versus Ronaldo Batista. That fight, Spence, Wow.
That Batista brother from Panama can box, Tunde.
Yeah. Good boxer.
He can box, but you know what? Martinez, he's like, I don't business. I'm just looking to whack out. I'm looking to punch the living daylights out of you. Really?
And they're talking about him against Sonny Edwards next.
I'm looking for that fight, Tun. I want that, and it's an easy fight to make because they're both at Matchroom. They're both on the zone now. So because of that, that's an easy fight to make. And I'm telling you, that is a winnable fight for Sonny Edwards. That is a winnable fight for him. But as long as he don't get drawn in and he sticks to his game plan and boxes, yes, no, and as Tunde said, it's not no 92-year-old Ghanaian man. No, you're not fighting an old man in here, right? But
I didn't say Ghanaian, no, bro. Don't try to get the Ghana man them on me. You know,
an African man. But I'm just saying, right?
The Ghana boys.
But it wasn't actually a Ghanaian that he boxed. So I'm just saying to you. So I'm saying to you, like,
you sure?
I'm sure he's from Ghana.
Nah. You're just stereotyping again. I know you. I know you just stereotyping.
Now I'm gonna be real. Look like one of the country's uncles still. But anyway,
Bro, Spencer, you're cussing people regular today. I don't know what's going on.
Let me tell you this, yeah. Because I'm just gonna digress on something really quick before we end the show, yeah. Country's uncles. I remember Country had a cousin who was a bit naughty, yeah. And I remember, like, the youth was around the area in Kenneton, and like, when I mean, like, all of the uncles come out and beat him, you know. all of the uncles come and beat Country's cousin. I ain't gonna call no names, but Country must be cracking up right now. But yeah, that's serious. But no, funny games aside, Martinez is a good fight. I remember when he fought Jay Harris, like, and he beat up Jay Harris, but Jay Harris showed a lot of heart to last. Them rounds that he did with him, Martinez is like, he's raw danger, man. He wings them in. But I'm saying to you now, I really do believe that Sonny Edwards has got the beating of him. But Sonny Edwards has to be 100% on it. If he's not, he's going to get broke up.
Definitely. But as I said,
thank you very much for the 449.
Oh yeah, big up Bobby. Charlie Edwards said he will entertain fighting his brother. Bro, I thought to message Charlie Edwards and said, fam, you can't. Sorry for the language, but you can't be fighting your brother. That's nonsense. You can't even be entertaining fighting your brother. That's nonsense. That's like the Klitschko's fighting each other. You don't do that. You just don't do that for no amount of money. I don't care what kind of family beef or rivalry there is.
I don't think there is any beef. I hope there isn't anyway. But
yeah, you don't fight your brother. You don't entertain fighting your brother as well. But anyway, and finally, the final result of the night was the return of undoubtedly the face of boxing, Saul Canelo Alvarez, defeating Mr. John Ryder, the gorilla John Ryder, by a unanimous decision. And it was a great fight, Spence.
It was an excellent fight. It was an excellent fight. It was excellent on seeing certain skills that both men demonstrated. It was nice. I like seeing little pockets of skills what guys go out and demonstrate. But it was very, very one-sided, right? But like I said, I'm not taking nothing away at all from John Ryder because he acquitted himself handily. And there's loads of guys who are in those positions as John Ryder, and they could say, "Sod it, I'm getting my money. It's cool. I tried the thing. It's not working. Let's just call it a day." And nobody would even have complained. They would have said, "Boy, you know what? After 7 rounds, we'd have said, you know what? He went in there and he tried a thing, and it didn't happen, right?" But he never. He showed that, man. And props to him. All of his camp, all of the Sims. And I've seen online Sims getting criticized for not pulling him out.
No way, impossible.
Yeah, I've seen man cussing Sims saying that he should have pulled him out, right?
No.
But as Tunde was saying, nobody knows a fighter like their trainer. And John Ryder has been around Sims for a hot minute, so they got that alliance. They got that bond. They know. So I'm not buying into that. Yeah. I wanted the fight stopped earlier because I thought, boy, you know what? He's a hiding for nothing. But like I said, he came out as a moral victor, and he can hold his head up high. Because I know the next thing, he go east, north, south, west. Walk in a pub right now, you don't have to pay for a drink ever again because of what he did yesterday.
Yeah, you know, people have short memories, so I don't even know about that, bro. People, they forget quick. Yeah, you already heard Joe talking about people forgetting about Phil Martin, Eric Guy, and that, and people just forget quick. But anyway, suffice to
And
say,
that's why we're here, Tunde. You know what I
yes,
mean?
sir.
That's
Yes,
why
sir.
we're here, right?
Absolutely, bro.
Because and the next thing, all like it's good in the age that we are that people are running out and speaking boxing vehemently and are animated about boxing and all the rest of it, yeah. But if you ain't paying your dues, yeah, to the people that's paved the way for you to come through and do, it's the blind leading the blind. And I'm not an advocate of that. And that is why I love the fact that Babatunde Ajayi has gone to someone like James Cook, because now he's going to get a plethora of that knowledge of James Cook.
Yeah,
James
he's
Cook
even in the
telling,
podcast, he was talking
right?
to-
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Now, these are the things that I was privy to. I was privy to right throughout amateurs, pros, everything, because I was very inquisitive because I love boxing that much, right? Now, we're getting young people that are coming into the game right now who don't know nobody, right? Who don't know no one. So when the old veterans are coming in and you're meant to pay homage to these old veterans who paved the way, they're not. You know what I mean? They're not. This guy here, right? Dio's taking liberty.
Spence, bro. You know, everyone loves you, you know. Everybody loves you, bro. But they, you know, bro, man said that's he said that's why we're here, Tunde. Spencer was saying this in 1905.
No, but it's the truth, right? No, props to people then that paved the way. I don't like these new age people them who's coming into this thing who don't know nothing about nothing, but then they want to be trying to educate people about this thing. No, you want to speak to the real scholars. You heard what Muhammad Ali said in October of 1974 when he beat George Foreman. Don't go to no Jimmy the Greek. Come to Muhammad Ali. That's it. Don't go to these little random man. Where the Muhammad Ali of this thing, chap?
Trust me. And listen, me, I love it. You know, we're me, that's you're my Cody, man. So it's all love for me anyway, always. Thank you as always, Spence, for joining us. It's been a great show today. Very concise, precise, and straight to the point. Thank you to all our guests that was on the show tonight. Mr. Johnny Nelson,
Come on.
salesman, trying to sell fights, telling man that man is talking his come on, man. We know this.
I want to know how much did Ben Shalom, who I quite like,
Yeah.
paid him. I know. What? Because just before the show started, like we saying, "I'll get this guy, to jump on the show." Because me and Tunde was going to spit, and I said, "All right, then cool." And as I was there, Joe Gallagher sent me a message about the champs camp that they're I said, "Joe, come on the show and talk about it." He jumped on. Then Tunde said, "Get Johnny Nelson." I said, "All right, then boom." So I sent Johnny Nelson a message. Johnny's like, yeah, I'm jumping on it. No doubt. I'm on it. So I said, all right, cool. So Johnny come on now. But I know just before Johnny come on, I know he phoned Ben Shalom. I know for a fact. I know Johnny Nelson. He phoned Ben Shalom because he's trying to still keep himself relevant down that sky, right? So he phoned Ben Shalom. Ben Shalom, yeah, Johnny, you got to promote that fight, Johnny. So he said, yeah, straight. Because I'm going to be real, Tunde. I'm going to be real. I know we're going over the time. Please forgive me. But I'm for real. In the light heavyweight division in the UK, if they don't call Anthony Yard's name, yeah, nothing can't go on it. You know why? Because most of these guys, they're dead personalities. They can fight what they want. Boxing is just not being skilled and talented and all the rest of it. We saw yesterday, Joshua Boatsy boxed, and I saw him do some very, very clever things in there, right? But that is not the thing that's going to make... No one's not going into work tomorrow, Tuesday. No one's not going to talk about that fight on Tuesday morning when they're in the work and say, oh, this is the fight.
They're more talking about Ben Whittaker.
Exactly. Man's talking about Ben Whittaker with his homage to Nassim Hamid. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about anything else. And here is the thing. And I'm gonna quote what Ron McIntosh said. Ron McIntosh said, when you're at those levels, right? And people pump money into you, you're the top star boy on that show. You're not even from Birmingham. You're a Londoner, right? And you're meant to go in there and put in that blast of a performance, right? Because I know for a fact, I'm just saying this now, and it's not because Tunde's here and he's my guy, right? And Anthony Yard is my guy. No. If they gave that man to Anthony Yard to go and fight, yeah? Fish, chips, curry goat, oxtail, and rice mixed together, right? That man would have got broke up in 4 rounds. Now,
We'll see. We don't know. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm not here to talk about Alexa.
No,
But
I'm not.
what
I'm just saying. We have to touch on it though. We have to touch it. People want to know.
Spence, I'm being honest. I think it was a good performance.
It was.
It's not what the people was expecting. And I feel, as you just said, when you get to a certain level in the sport, a certain stage, money's been pumped into you, you have an obligation. Mike Tyson spoke about this. You have an obligation to entertain the people. It's entertainment. And I think that's why Ant is head and shoulders above these guys. Because when Ant goes in there, it's entertainment, and so everybody's different, but it will, the fight, I mean, Anthony said it, JB said it, the fight will happen. The fight will happen. So everything is timing, as I've always said, but well done to JB last night, got the victory, still undefeated. I'm backing man until they fight us. You know what I'm saying? So we're all from the same ends. Everybody's trying to do things in their own unique way. Dan has his way. Craig Richards has his way. Another London boy, Joshua Boatsi, has his way. Anthony Yard has his ways. And I keep saying, these London boys, I've got nothing but respect for them, love for them. But this is fact. We ain't going on no show saying, this is my brethren. It's not that. It's not that. It's just love and respect until it's time to throw down. So if the fight happens, let's get it cracking, man. Let's get it cracking. But until then, I wish each and every one of those boys the best. Yes, sir. We've come to the end of the show. What's that? How many bigger fights in the UK that you actually beat outside Josh Tyson? Anyway, we could just keep on going around in circles. That's why I didn't want to get into this debate, but it's a talking point and someone flew last night. So yeah, Spence, any closing statements?
I just Phil answer is always throwing in questions. I've got to say, Lawrence Okoli and Richard Rapport met again, Spence last night. They did, and they sat down like sister and brother, right? These guys don't
Matty on bench.
Yeah, I'm saying, brother, listen to me, Lawrence, and also when they had their kerfuffle at the Creed premiere. Yeah, I mean, it was real. Now, obviously, now they're trying to sit down. Now, what is this? Lawrence Okoli's fighting in, was it 2 weeks?
Yeah, Lawrence had his fighting face on yesterday. And after his exposure, you can see his focus on one thing.
Yeah. But also, Lawrence Okoli didn't have to be there last night.
Yeah, he didn't, yeah.
You didn't. I'm just going to be real with you, Lawrence, because I know you're going to listen to it. I don't know.
But maybe he's there to support JB, right?
Could be, but regardless of that, he didn't have to be there. I'm just going to be real. You didn't have to be there. I just believe so, right? But you're there with Richard Rapport. I'm telling these man, keep the pepper soup still boiling because, you better do the business when you fight Billum Smith in 3 weeks' time. Because let me tell you this, if that fight goes remotely close, you ain't getting a decision.
You know what I was laughing at? Lawrence, you got to be sharp, When people are talking, you got to listen properly. Lawrence made a comment. He said, fam, if I go by the sparring sessions I had with Billum Smith, he said he wouldn't even train for the fight. I said, yeah, Lawrence. It's what I'm trying to say. You got to listen to Lawrence because he's quick-witted, fam. So yeah, he's very confident as always, Lawrence, and that's a fight I'm definitely looking forward to. Let's not forget we have the youngest ever undisputed lightweight champion, Mr. Devin Haney, taking on the Matrix. But I know there's been a couple glitches in the Matrix these past years, but still, this is a real fight. This isn't a good boxer against a YouTuber. This is a proper fight.
It is.
Vasily Lomachenko, even though he's small, is a proper fighter. Devin Haney, listen, he's the boss of the lightweight division, but I'm anticipating a great fight.
It's going to be a wicked fight. I mean, it is going to be a wicked fight. I've got Devin Haney. I've got Devin Haney stopping Lomachenko in Alton. I've said it.
Come on.
I've got him stopping him. You throws. You know what? Devin Haney throws two. You know what they say? Like familiarity breeds contempt, but also familiarity don't make you want to rate people in the ways that you should be rating them. And I'm telling you, Devin Haney is going to put hands on Lomachenko. It's the right time for him. He's undisputed champion. He carries himself as a champion. He carries himself very dignified. He trains really hard. I just like the synergy between him and his dad. Not only does he show up to the show, but his dad does as well. Tunde goes years back with these guys as well. I can't. I'm just being real. I just think he's gonna do Lomachenko bad. That is it. He's gonna do him bad.
Good point. And again, we're trying to wrap it up because we've got to keep this.
Yeah, come on, let's wrap it up.
We've got to keep it concise. But we got Taylor against Lopez. That's going to be a great fight. We've also got Lee Wood against Lara. The rematch, going straight back into the fire.
Fair play to Lee Wood.
And fair play to the result for that. So yeah, we got a great few weeks or months of action coming up in the sport of boxing, and no doubt we'll be doing the watch-alongs, we'll be doing the previews, and yeah, good to see you, Spence. Good to see you.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a fun show today. It's been a lively show today. You know what I mean? I rushed in. I was out at dinner, and I said, "Look, I got to go now." So I just rushed in, left the kids, come do the show. And it's been a pleasure. It's been very, very good energy. We've got some really good interviews to do for this week. Yes, so I'm looking forward to the week. And also, we haven't even congratulated our new crown king.
Big up Charles, the Don, aka the King of England. No more, bruv, women ain't coming in this thing. There'll be no woman running this country.
What are you talking about? Camilla's queen. Huh? Camilla has been crowned the queen.
When? No. But I'm trying to say, bruv, it's God save the king. It ain't God save the king.
I know. But Tunde, what I'm trying to say is this. I want everyone to listen to this. Like, I know we get certain females. We've got
to wrap up the show. Let
me say this before I go. Because Tunde's going to say, "Drink, believe it, coming." Right, Mark. Before we wrap up this. Camilla Parker Bowles, yeah? To all the side chicks out there, I want you to realize this part here.
Why do you have to go there?
You could be queen.
I don't want the royal family to lock off our thing. What's the matter with you? Don't disrespect the royal family. Bro, Spencer, you're firing darts today. I don't know what's the matter with you. Calling man rat face of the thing. Calling Camilla a side chick. Nah, come on, man. What's going on? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Spencer was cracking joke prior to
I told you. Listen. Let me just say this before we chip.
Come on, man. You've been saying. Let me just say.
This is the last we're gonna say. Let me just say a massive big up to every single person that supports the show, every single person that has backed. I mean, dream it, believe it, become it, because that's what it is. We dreamed it, believed it, become it. The show's growing so big. I want to thank Gary. I want to thank Tunde for backing me when I was going through my dark phases. I ain't going through no much of the dark phases now. I'm on one right now. So like certain things are just coming back. I'm just buzzing. And it's because of you guys who support the show. So thank you so much and God bless you. And now Tunde can close the show by saying these famous words.
Yes, sir. I'm seeing Lionel Richie, bruv, still swinging, doing movements at his age. Come on,
you know,
yeah, bruv, Lionel's not messing about. Ladies and gentlemen, let me end the show. Gary Chains coming with a black man ting, coming in, just chatting about, yeah, sorry I'm late. The dance done, bro. Don't try to roll up. You don't mind trying to roll up to the dance.
Wait there, Gary, before you go, you better throw some collection money in.
We're not even acknowledging you, Gary, unless you put in some Snapchat. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we end the show in exactly the same way we begun it, with the magical words of dream it, believe it, become it.
Come on up, have a pleasant new week, and have a fantastic bank holiday. Big up. Boom.